everybody.
Hi, guys. Well, from beautiful Salt Lake City, Utah.
It's Thank God I'm Atheist.
the podcast.
I'm Frank Feldman.
I'm Dan Beecher.
And coming up today, Dan, it's the first volleys in the War on Christmas have been cast.
It's the most wonderful time of the year.
Yeah, that's true. So,
Meaning, the War on Christmas. Skunk-kunk-kunk.
yeah, the skirmish
I did singing and a sound effect.
against Christmas.
Yeah.
The campaign.
The Thrilla
On
in vanilla.
It's true. All right, Dan. Here I got the first story for you.
Okay.
This is coming up right now.
Hit me.
Okay.
Knock me out.
Dan,
Yo.
how much do you think religion costs the nation of Canada every year?
Religion costs. Meaning how much do people donate to a religion?
No.
To religion?
How much does Canada provide in subsidies? Because the BC Humanists Association, that's the British Columbia
Yeah.
Humanists.
Yeah, sure.
They are in cahoots with some researchers, and they are looking into actually quantifying how much these subsidies cost.
Yeah.
And this article that I found was talking specifically about the cost of religious charities.
Now, what could that mean? I don't understand what that means.
I think they use charity in how we would say the word nonprofit.
Okay.
Right.
So just sort of like if they were paying taxes instead of not paying taxes.
Exactly.
How
right.
much?
So this report focuses only on charities that identify one of their purposes as the advancement of religion.
Okay.
Okay, which is one of the four sort of purposes of or one of the four heads of charity.
Oh.
The others being relief of poverty, advancement of education, and other purposes beneficial to the community.
Those all sound great.
Right.
That first one sounds a little fishy.
Right.
Wishy-washy.
So their current sort of definition of what a charity is essentially excludes it currently excludes religious-based educational institutions, homeless shelters, and other charities. Any charity that claims to advance religion, there must be an element of theistic worship.
Uh-huh.
So, essentially, the government of Canada does not consider it a charitable activity to advance a non-theistic worldview, such as the humanists do.
Right.
So the humanists are a charitable organization, but under the auspices of education and the promotion of human rights.
Okay.
Right.
Funny. That's really funny.
But they aren't able to...
So everybody else is allowed to do their worldview.
Yes, but the humanists cannot.
But the humanists can't.
And so the humanists are a little miffed about this. So they're saying, well, this is Ian Bushfield, the executive director of BC Humanists. This report lays out how our governments disregard their constitutional duty of religious neutrality by subsidizing and privileging the promotion of some worldviews to the exclusion of others. If people want to promote their beliefs about the supernatural, they should do it without the expectation of a public handout.
Yeah.
Right. So I started with the question: how much do you think this costs?
I don't think it's a small number. I think maybe that's a really, really large number.
The governments in Canada provided subsidies of up to $2.6 billion for the advancement of religion in just the year 2017.
Yeah. And that's Canada. That's like, there's population there is so much smaller than ours.
Yeah, exactly.
So.
And so essentially what we're looking at, what they are doing, this is the first part of a broader study called The Cost of Religion in Canada. And so this one's part one, Canadian taxpayers funding the advancement of religion.
Yeah.
And that is a specific goal or an acceptable goal of a charitable organization in Canada.
Right.
Which is dubious.
Yeah.
It's a dubious goal.
I question that.
Of course, organizations that do the same in this country and that are equally eligible
Right.
for the same kind of subsidy. And that's the thing. We need I love the framework that they've established here, this perspective that this is a government subsidy of religion. By giving them a tax-free status, you are subsidizing it and essentially saying that it is a goal of our society.
Right.
This is a goal that we should all be supporting.
Right. And so we all do support it.
Right.
Whether we get to, whether we want to or not. Like every Canadian and every American.
Right.
And in any society that does have tax breaks for religions, we are subsidizing
essentially
their worldview.
Taxpayers should not be
The promotion of their worldview.
forced to subsidize as a collective the advancement of religion. Yeah.
Yeah, it's so like you think about it, and that what was it, the something $1 billion, whatever it was, 2.6, and then you think about the fact that they have a little more than 1/10 of the population of the U.S.
Right.
And it's just like, whoa, that's
So multiply that by
20 billion.
and that's
dollars in, if it carries over directly.
If it carries over, and exactly how these kind of institutions sort of, if they are, if there's an analog in each country.
And meanwhile, you've got a whole bunch of like charlatans getting rich off of this shit.
Oh yeah.
That sucks.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's just a little thing there. It made me kind of think about sort of that like the need for us to not accept their framework. Right? Because the religious have run this country. They've run this world.
Yeah.
Right? And the tides, are
The thing is,
changing a little bit.
I believe that churches do provide services to their congregants. And I also believe that, a lot of churches do have some charitable wings that are good. I say donation to the charitable wing of the church, tax deductible, great.
Sure.
Donation, your tithe, your membership dues,
Right.
no.
Yeah.
That's just dues to join the club.
Yeah.
Anyway, speaking of charitable donations and religious charities, I don't know if you know this. Donald Trump seems to be the president of the United States. Is that a truth? Did that happen? I don't like it. I'm in denial still. I'm still in denial.
I know. It's. I hope it's just our timeline. It's just that we were the one freak timeline in the multiverse,
right? And everybody else is okay.
I hope the rest of the multiverse is okay.
Maybe. Okay, so we got the shit timeline. The Trump administration they're proposing a change in the rules.
Oh.
There was a rule put in place in 2016, sort of in the final days of the Obama administration.
Okay.
That would prohibit agencies that were like adoption agencies and foster care agencies, that sort of thing, from discriminating against against users of their service based on race, ethnicity, gender identity, sexual orientation, or religion. I think mainly, actually, I'm going to... the race thing wasn't actually part of it. I think that was already on the thing.
Yeah.
But it was religion, sexual orientation, and gender identity.
Yeah.
You can't discriminate.
They added those to the list.
To the list.
Of sort of classes.
Right.
Yeah, okay. Perfect.
Much to the chagrin of a lot of... So a lot of these things, they shouldn't be, but a lot of the adoption and foster care agencies in our country are run by religious organizations.
Yeah.
That is cuckoo bananas crazy to me.
Yeah.
Because they have such a strong agenda. But that's how it works out. That's the truth. It's the facts. So there you go.
Right. Okay.
Anyway, this rule was put into place by Obama late in his career, which I think is like, come on, why didn't you do that like out the chute? But okay, fine. Well,
I mean, there's a lot to do.
You
as
get
president.
to it when you get to it.
Right.
Sure. Anywho, the Trump administration is trying to lift that rule.
Trying to, or
they've proposed that they're going to do it. It looks like it's going to happen.
I mean, what would stop them?
Nothing.
Why wouldn't they just do it?
Well,
why propose it?
They're doing it.
Don't drag your feet, guys.
They're doing it. It's happening.
He's the president. He can do whatever he wants.
Yeah. So some people are cheering. The United States Conference of Catholic Bishops is very, very happy about this.
Oh,
because they've been and they did this. They closed a lot of Catholic adoption agencies because they'd rather not help children in need than get them into a gay household.
Into a loving home.
Yeah, exactly. When the lead counsel for Children's Rights, which is a nonprofit based in New York, a woman named Christina Wilson Remlin said, on any given day, there are more than 440,000 in the foster care system in the United States.
Oh, wow.
So the thought that anyone would even consider taking mentally healthy potential parents out of the running for any of these kids is astonishing.
Yeah.
Like, you can take some people out of the running.
Oh, yeah.
Abusive people.
Yes.
They're out of the running. Anyone with a track record of violence or whatever.
Yeah.
You're out of the running.
Right.
But we need as many healthy people as we can get.
Right.
To raise children. If it's a loving household, get in there.
Yeah. Yeah, why not?
But no. Wow. Because Frank, what if they're gay? Isn't that a little yucky poo?
Oh, it's contagious.
They might catch it.
Yeah.
Also, what if they're a Jew or a Muslim? What if they're a Muslim? What if they're atheists? Because make no mistake, we're on that list.
That's probably true, isn't it?
Yeah. Definitely.
You wouldn't want to put a kid in a Muslim household.
No. What if they're one of those things? What if they're all of them? What if they're a gay, Jewish, Muslim atheist?
Or the mom is
trans. What if they're a trans, gay, Muslim?
Yeah.
A trans, gay atheist.
Right. Horror.
Oh,
how could that child
you can't raise a child.
Be taken care of?
They can't raise a child.
Have their needs met?
A trans...
Physical and emotional needs?
A pansexual...
Provided for?
Yeah.
Never.
Nope.
Could never happen.
Nope. We will only put these kids into good, safe Christian households.
where nothing
they will be
ever happens.
Thoroughly indoctrinated.
Yeah. Oh, God. Nothing bad ever happens in a Christian household.
Nope. It can't. How could it? Jesus is there.
Jesus. Dan.
Yeah.
I chose to do this story just because I think it's something that we need to keep watching and encouraging to happen elsewhere. And I'm, moderately jealous of places where such progress is able to be made.
Ooh.
Germany.
Deutschland
is set to ban conversion therapy for members of the LGBT community. Gay conversion therapy.
Just ban the practice altogether.
So essentially, they're largely banning conversion therapy.
Okay.
It will be completely banned for all youth under the age of 18.
Yes.
And it's not a complete ban for adults, but there are sort of restricted circumstances. There's somehow you would have to qualify for it,
right?
And then there's rules about it, right? My assumption would be they've probably said things like, electroshock Right?
Yeah, that's
I would assume that they're sort of saying, there's harmful stuff too. You can sit and talk about it, but yeah, once the electrodes come out,
right, then you're getting, then it's just too kinky, and you've got to take that to the sex club.
Oh yeah, this is not the place for this.
This is not therapy. This is fun. It's play, not work.
There is a possible exemption for 16 to 18-year-olds.
Oh.
The practitioner, however, must prove that the patient has the capacity to understand the implications and the risks of treatment.
Okay.
So the patient has to understand this, not their parents.
Right. Yeah.
Right? This can't be kids being pushed into it.
Right.
Obviously a 16, 17-year-old, a mature one, can understand the world around them, so forth and so on, and the risks, these kind of risks. So, those who violate this ban face a potential year in prison or a fine. They haven't really defined how much the fine would be.
Well, and I assume that they'll lose their license to practice any kind of therapy. I would hope.
Yeah, it doesn't really say that.
Huh.
Yeah, no, you got to keep your license.
Oh, good.
Go out there and keep practicing.
Yeah.
There are other sort of interesting things with regards to this. They think that there are roughly 1,000 cases of conversion therapy every year in Germany. I
can't tell if I think that's high or low. Above 0 is high.
Yeah.
So
the conversion therapy is conducted by both religious leaders as well as psychotherapists.
Yeah.
The real issue here, and I think they kind of bury the lead a little bit. Basically the last sentence. I'm just going to read the last sentence, and I feel like this is so important. Undergoing conversion therapy can lead to depression, anxiety disorders, and a higher risk of suicide. Furthermore, its effectiveness has not been proven. That line is so critical in this entire discussion. Why would you allow a kind of therapy that has there's no evidence for its effectiveness,
for any kind of efficacy? Also, its goal is utterly dubious as a therapeutic goal.
Right.
It's like saying, we're going to do therapy by changing your hair color or whatever. Like there's what's the point of it? There's no happiness goal. There's no mental health goal for it. It's just a fall in line with your religious bullshit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just get therapy until you're done with your religion, and that will solve all of the problems. We need to, by the way, work in your state, in your country, in your wherever to get rid of conversion therapy.
We're actually in a weird place here in Utah with it, right? Because they were trying to pass it in the legislature
to get rid of it.
To get rid of it last year.
Yeah.
And it stood a better chance than anybody ever thought. And then the church got involved.
Well, and the church was staying clear of it.
They were staying clear. And then last hour got involved, killed it.
Yeah.
And then they went to work on the governor, and they came up with a really clever way to essentially just ban it in the state, which was to change the sort of ethical guidelines for the licensing that would be associated with the licensing of therapists, right?
But it's still allowed.
And so they were essentially going to say that anyone who practices it would essentially lose their license. They were going to do it administratively, right? And then the governor backed off. Thanks, LDS Church, for getting to the governor.
Yeah, the LDS Church, make no mistake about it. If the LDS Church decides they know how they want a law to go in the state of Utah, it goes.
Yeah.
That's just a fact.
I think, though, that this one, a few more years, and the state will pass it.
Yeah, well,
regardless of how many.
I think the LDS Church has to kill off a couple of guys, and then it'll be. Speaking of guys that need to die in the LDS Church, the very ones that I'm talking about, President Russell M. Nelson.
Rusty
Nelson
himself.
Avatar cartoon grumpy old man Rusty Nelson.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he is actually a cartoon who has entered real life. Somehow Mr. Burns got translated into humanity and it's Rusty M. Nelson. Anyway, he was recently in he's on a whirlwind tour all over the place. He went going to Europe, Africa, and Asia.
Oh yeah.
He was recently in Kenya, Nairobi.
Yeah.
And talking to, they don't make much headway with the first world countries anymore. The Mormons don't get a lot of converts in the first world countries anymore, but they do pretty good when they get into the more poverty-stricken countries, when they get into your Latin America, your Africas.
Well, things have, they still, I'm sure, have a fairly good rate of conversion in Latin America, but it's slowed down.
Yeah.
The growth spot in the LDS church right now is in Africa.
Yep.
There's a few spots in Africa that are doing quite well.
Yeah, so he has a message for African people. A few messages.
I'm sure it's just and so on point. Let's hear what he has to say.
Well, yes. First of all, he would like to make sure that everyone knows that the African traditions of dowries, where the bride's family or the groom's family pays a dowry for the bride to the bride's family or whatever.
Yeah.
That is not the Lord's way.
It's only for Hawaiians.
That is
right, Johnny Lingo.
That's right. It's only for Polynesians, and it must be in cows. You must pay in cows. No, the Lord's way is to be married in the temple for time and all eternity with your children sealed to you.
Yeah.
Doy, obviously, everybody, you're wrong. Fuck cultural sensitivities. We know how the world works.
Right.
And it's very interesting. He points out, he says, I would have missed 5 children because he's speaking of his 10 children. He had 10 with his first wife, who is now deceased,
right,
and waiting for him in the afterlife, waiting
for him and his new wife,
where she will be a plural wife with the current gal. Anyway, who is 25 years his junior,
and doesn't have any kids.
No,
she's childless, right?
Yeah.
So yeah,
a sad, barren woman.
They get to share.
There's plenty of kids to go around. Let's be real. Anyway, he says, I would have missed 5 children because only with the last 5 was I out of debt. So if he had to pay, he was a doctor, so he went into debt for his. Which is funny because if you had missed the first 5, you would have gotten out of that debt a lot quicker.
Yeah,
Mr. Nelson. Anyway, great. That's a great point. I'm sure that resonated super strong with the Africans.
I think that one even coming and filtering back to this country,
not great.
Doesn't where we are just in debt to our eyeballs.
Right. The optics aren't great.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Well, I had 5 kids. Who with 5 kids is out of debt?
Ever.
Mr. Privilege.
A doctor.
Well, yeah, okay. But.
Yeah. Anyway.
A successful doctor.
Yeah. Hashtag okay boomer. Anyway, he went on though.
He's older than boomer.
He is older than boomer. His kids are boomers.
That's true. Yeah.
Anywho, there's more.
Oh boy.
Apparently now the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints is also super into prosperity gospel.
They are? Because it was always present, but it's worse than it was.
He's talking to a country that's poverty stricken.
Yeah.
And he says, we preach tithing to the poor people of the world because the poor people of the world have cycles of poverty, generation after generation. That same poverty continues from one generation to another until people pay their tithing. Joel Osteen.
Wow.
Wow. Fuck you enormous shitbag.
Wow.
He is, yeah.
How does that even work in their brain?
Yeah, exactly. He's telling people who don't know where the next meal's coming from, don't know how they're going to pay their rent, don't know what, they're one medical problem away from destitution.
Right.
And he's like, but give me 10%. Whatever it is, however much you make, I get that it's not enough. Still give me 10%.
Give me 10%.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my God.
There you go.
Wow.
Mormonism, they're not great.
No, they're not.
I'm just going to say they're not great.
They're really not. Oh God.
Yeah.
Anyway. No, I don't even know where to go with that. Anyway, Dan.
Yes.
Just in case you were worried, because I know you really
I have concerns.
Care for this person as much as I do.
Okay.
One Mr. Donald Trump, President of the United States.
Oh, is he still that?
Yeah, I'm so worried. I'm worried for him.
Oh, yeah. Well,
there's this whole impeachment thing that's coming crashing down around him.
It's sad.
But
it's a witch hunt, really.
Just so you know.
Okay.
Just so you know, Dan, he's in a good place.
Oh, good.
According to the evangelical leaders that gathered to pray with him this last week, Trump did not appear preoccupied with the impeachment at all.
No, because he has the attention span of dryer lint.
Right. And all those ranting and raving tweets.
Yeah,
don't undermine this message. He's not preoccupied at all with the impeachment. We spent our time, they say, focused on various accomplishments. The nomination of federal judges, criminal justice reform, the defense of religious freedom, abortion reduction, the child tax credit, opportunity zones. The preachers are concerned about opportunity zones.
Yeah, that sounds bad.
I don't even know what that means. You don't know what? We'll get to it offline.
Okay.
Because I'm not going to take a lot of time explaining it here. The battle against opioid addiction and human trafficking, the Islamic State and targeted operations leading to the death of ISIS leader Abu. They talked about a lot. They had 1 hour. They got through all of this, and they prayed. They prayed with the president.
Yeah.
Dan.
They did. I saw a picture. They were laying on of hands.
Oh, yeah. No, this picture is so inspiring, Dan. The president is standing. They're in I think they're in the Roosevelt room, if I had to take a guess. And he's standing there, his arms limp at his side, his head sort of slightly tilted downward, not a full bow.
Because he doesn't like being touched, and he's just sort of suffering through it.
Well, yeah, I mean, he did have to get through, like a sanitizer bath.
Yeah.
After this. No, but here they are. They're putting their hands out, and he's got his eyes closed, and they are just so happy to be there. Now here's the deal.
I want someone to give like a 10-minute prayer in his presence and then just focus a camera on him, because I bet he's not able to close his eyes for more than 13 seconds.
They say he was abundantly clear. He's totally unfazed by this, meaning the impeachment.
Yeah.
Everybody felt this way. This isn't actually about Donald Trump, though. It's about the agenda that he's put forward, the success he's had in advancing the agenda. We take it very personally because they're going after our values. This is what Graham said.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that later on.
Another Graham by the name of Jack Graham.
Jack Graham.
I don't know this guy.
If it's not Franklin Graham and it's not Lindsey Graham, who the fuck are we talking about?
Let's see. They say Christians are called on to pray for their leaders regardless of political leanings.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
And they were
pray for him. Pray for him to be ousted. Pray for
seriously,
all of our safety
you're
from him.
Praying for Obama. You're praying against Obama.
Yeah, right.
But nonetheless, everybody, I just want you to know they're there. They're supporting him.
Thank God.
And they're going to be supporting him coming this election, rallying their people. Don't please don't worry. Don't lose any sleep.
Oh, he's doing fine.
He's doing fine. He's resilient.
Yeah. It's good. Yeah, don't worry. He's not losing his mind entirely, everybody. Just read the tweets. You'll be fine.
Oh, no, yeah.
Anyway, speaking of the Trump administration, I'm going to close this out with good news. Which is that, I opened my site. My first thing was about the Trump administration establishing new rules that were asshole rules.
Yeah.
It's a long line. This is the most recent in a long line of asshole rules that he's tried to do.
Yeah.
One of the more recent ones was that he was trying to the Trump administration made a rule that made it easier for doctors and various healthcare workers to refuse care for religious reasons.
Oh, good. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's an important right.
Yes, exactly.
Being cared for, that's not a right.
No,
and that's not
no.
important,
No, what's important
you're
is
sick, you need medical help.
What's important is that doctors
I want to know that the
feelings,
doctor has a right to deny me service.
is protected.
Yeah, that those rights
or
are
that like there's a nurse in the room who doesn't like what they're being asked to do.
Yeah.
That like once the surgery has started, they can just beg out. Oh, we're doing this?
You didn't tell me.
Well, I'm not going to do that. Which is now, according to the new rules, which was going to be legal. This was Roger Severino's baby. He's the director of the Office for Civil Rights at the Department of Health. They established an Office of Civil Rights, and let me tell you something.
You know what?
They're not worried about black folks or the gays or whatever.
Like, I don't have a problem with that office by that name or an office by that name.
No, that'd be great.
No problem at all with that.
But when
if it were
Trump
actually
administration
about that.
Yeah. So Severino created a Conscience and Religious Freedom Division in January of 2018. And then in May of this year, issued that rule. Now, that rule, he said, was based on the fact that complaints about this sort of thing, about having a religious objection to something that a healthcare worker was being asked to do, they came into that office about once a year. There would be one that came in a year.
Yeah.
Well, in the last year, that frequency it jumped up to 343 complaints last year alone.
Oh my God.
So something must be done at that point, obviously.
Right.
Except that you'll be glad to know this rule has been struck down by a court.
Yeah.
A federal court in Manhattan has struck down the rule. Judge Paul Engelmeyer has ruled that they were acting, quote, arbitrarily and capriciously in the issuance of this rule, in part because the claim that the jump in complaints jumped to 343, the judge said was demonstrably false, saying nearly 80% of those complaints to the court were about vaccinations, which is unrelated to the healthcare workers and their religious beliefs.
Oh, wow.
And that only 21 or 6% of the complaints are even potentially related to the provider's moral or religious objections.
Yeah. Okay.
And the judge said this conceded fact is fatal to their justification for the rule, even assuming that all 20 or 21 complaints implicated the conscience provisions. Those 20 or 21 are a far cry from the 343 that the rule declared represented a significant increase in complaints. So there you go.
Wow.
It may still come back in some form. They may appeal it or whatever. Another lawsuit is pending in California. It's unclear as to how this ruling will affect that lawsuit.
Oh my God.
But there you go. At least it's been, it was set to go into effect, I think this month, but now it won't until further litigation happens or different rules are popped up. Anyway,
I'm so...
that's Sort of good news.
Sort of good news. I'm just so disappointed in these Christians.
I know.
They haven't lived up to their full potential.
They won't. It's not a thing that they do.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's why we're all leaving. It's why everybody's jumping the ship.
Here's the deal. I think we need to find a barren piece of land somewhere, an original copy of the Constitution, which they want, and let them go think they're living and let them just do it.
No,
let them.
Don't even bother with the Constitution.
No, they want it.
Throw a Bible in.
Thing. No, they think that thing is like. They think they know what it is.
Well, they don't know. What we need to do is throw them a copy of what they think the Constitution is.
No.
If they find the real Constitution, they'll be shocked to discover that it doesn't say the things that they assume that it says.
Right. Just like their Bible.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, throw them that Bible too. There'll be so much reading, Dan.
Oh my God.
I guarantee you. Give them some reading materials.
They're all big readers. Anyway, if you're a big reader or a writer, please write into us, podcast@thankgodimatheist.com.
Or call and leave us a voicemail message. The telephone number is 424-666-8442.
Yep, go to the Facebook page, facebook.com/TGIAtheist, and click on the like button.
And while you're there, search for the TGIA Members Only Lounge and request to join. It is a closed group, but we will let you in.
Yeah.
Dan.
Patty boy!
Pat Robertson.
Only I'm not as excited because this is, as we always talk about with Pat Robertson, he goes one way or he goes another way. Yeah. And like half the time it's like cuckoo bananas hilarious.
Right.
A small percentage of the time it's like, oh, you just made sense. What are you doing?
Right. And then there's the other part of the time where it's just cruel.
Just evil meanness.
Yeah. So
and we got mean Patty boy today.
Lest we forget, because we like to talk out Pat Robertson.
Because we like the guy most of the time, but he's
we enjoy him.
I enjoy him. Yeah, that's true. But no, he's a fucking dick, and this is proof. Here we go.
This is from Brittany, who says, my boyfriend and I are 5 months pregnant. We want to move in together so we can share the experience and be together when the baby's born. Both of our parents frown upon this idea and say it is not biblical. I have no job, but we'll get one after the baby is born, and he has a very low-paying job, so we cannot afford to get married. Is it wrong to move in together even though we aren't married? I have seen unmarried Christians living together countless times. If it is wrong, why is it wrong, and what do we do?
Well, you know, as this old saying is, two wrongs don't make a right. Yep. And look, here's the deal. If you don't like what's going on, you can always kind of say, I'm leaving, goodbye. But if you get married and then you get divorced, all of a sudden it's a totally different scenario. And you don't have a job that's adequate, your boyfriend doesn't, so you made a mistake. Why don't you get some adoption agency to take the baby and you two go your separate ways? You know, you want to move in together. Well, quote, my boyfriend and I are pregnant. He's not pregnant, you're pregnant, you know. It's your terminology is screwed up. But hey, two wrongs don't make a right. And you, I don't know how old you are, but you sound like you're just a youngster. And you're not capable of getting into marriage. You're not capable of raising a child. You don't have the time and the patience. And all of a sudden, when the pressures of marriage and motherhood come upon you, you won't be able to handle it. Don't do it, all right?
Damn. You know what? Fuck you. You're no good. Yeah. You're trash. Just nuke the whole thing.
Yeah.
You have to do the nuclear option. Get rid of the kid. Get rid of the guy. Right. Start over. Move to a different state. Probably a different country.
Change your name.
Get a better job. Build your life up. And then you can consider having children. when you're a valuable person.
Right. Productive. I love that, like, though, I mean, she says it right in her question. She says that her boyfriend does not make enough money for them to get married, which I don't know. I don't like. I would, if I were Pat Robertson, I would question her on that.
Yeah.
Right. Like, if you feel like marriage is so important in this whole thing, which,
right,
that's the perspective he's coming from.
Right.
Why not just be like, hey, listen, like, a lot of people, raise a kid on not a lot of money. They work hard. They share the responsibilities.
Yeah.
Right. Like, how little money are you talking about? There are state programs that can help out. Your church community might be able to help out.
And
right?
And say you don't need a big wedding. I mean, if what's important to him,
right,
is the marriage, just a wedding.
Yeah.
Fucking get a priest in there. It'll cost you not much.
Right.
Just get married. You don't have a big wedding. You have a marriage. You have
right.
And then later you can have something.
If you want to, like, celebrate your, union later, fine, whatever. But, like, you can also have a party that's not that expensive. If you feel like, why it's the cruelty.
Yeah.
This
you're not
advice that
you're based on the 3 paragraphs that I've heard of you.
Right. You're not ready.
You're an unfit mother.
Right.
You are unfit.
Right.
Stop it. Just stop it. Just get rid of the kid. Throw it in the garbage. I don't care.
There's no compassion whatsoever.
No
in
humanity
his response.
At all to his response. It's a little rough.
Yeah.
It's just like, I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
All right, Pat. You're on our shit list now.
We don't like you anymore.
Yeah.
See if we ever play another one of your clips on our show again.
Which we totally will. Assuming you don't die tomorrow, which
he might.
Which he could do at any given moment.
We'll play a retrospective.
Yeah. We'll give him, and I take no credit for this phrase, a fuck eulogy. Anyway, we had some folks write into us. Hi, Frank and Dan. My name's Conrad. I'm 24, and I'd like to share my story after last week's discussion of harmful beliefs. I grew up in with a born-again Christian dad and a Catholic mom. It was a witchcraft is evil, spare the rod, spoil the child, and you only love Jesus kind of household. To this day, it hurts to think about my dad's violence. He called them spanks and punishments, and him reading me the Bible most every night. Oh, that's worse than the spanks. Despite my protests in both those things.
Yeah. That
Bronze Age compilation of stories didn't make sense to me from the start. My dad would talk about the new millennium, and all I could think about was Jesus H. Christ riding atop the Millennium Falcon at the head of 1,000 angels flying through the air. That's cute. I just wanted to put on Star Wars again. I just wanted to put on Star Wars again, I think. My imagination has always helped me through confusing times, especially more than any god. I can't erase the pain in my past, but I can talk about it and help make sure it doesn't happen again. I hope you both have a good day.
Oh.
The Millennium Falcon.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be better if Jesus were a Wookiee?
Then at least you wouldn't understand what he's saying.
Most people don't understand. They make it clear they don't understand what he was saying anyway. You might as well have been speaking Wookiee. Anyway, that was sweet.
Nice.
We have a voicemail, don't we?
We do have a voicemail. This is from a now longtime listener, I think. We've been getting his voicemails for a couple years now, I would say.
Good grief.
Donnie has called in, and he has a kind of just a funny story that he's sharing.
Okay.
Hi, Frank and Dan. This is Donnie. I've called in before. So I've had the most bizarre experience over the last 2 weeks. 2 weeks ago, I had a customer come into the restaurant that I work at, and we got to chatting. And I live in like the wooiest place aside from Sedona, Arizona in the country. And he told me that he was basically rewriting the Bible to replace God and all references to God with the word love or the concept of love. And I told him that was going to be difficult when it gets into books like Ezekiel and Joshua and the other ones that talk about murdering babies and stuff. But he asked me if I would read it and proof it for him because I told him I was an atheist and he wanted a complete skeptic's point of view on it. And I thought that was really interesting. He's a very nice person and an interesting human being in general. But I have been reading it, and it's funny because there is so much that is just edited out. And as I've been reading through it, I keep pointing out places where he's completely cut chapters and verses that are not, that don't align with the story he's trying to tell. And I'm finding this to be a really fascinating exercise because I have read the Bible a couple times trying to find my faith. And this is a really unique experience for me to go through and see a woo twist on a really old, meaningless book. And I've just been having a really fascinating experience with it. And I just wanted to tell you about it because this is, I never would have done this if it weren't for reading your podcast or listening to your podcast and your take on how to be compassionate and loving towards the people that still believe. I would never even have attempted this. I used to be a lot angrier about my atheism than I am now. And so I really appreciate this opportunity, and I'm glad that I listened to your podcast because it's given me the wherewithal to actually read through this thing and not want to shoot myself in the face. Anyway, have a good one. Love the podcast. Bye.
Okay, A, you don't get to blame us for you having to read this goddamn thing. That is not our fault. That sounds interesting.
Yeah.
Replacing God with love, that's a little problematic when you're looking, especially when you're looking at the Old Testament. You're absolutely right. Yeah, you're going to have to delete some shit. Because love doesn't send bears to kill children. And then he called upon love, and love killed 42 children using bears. Or then he called upon love, and love turned his wife into a pillar of salt.
Or love commanded him to, kill his child.
To murder his own kid.
Yeah.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, that's yes.
And then
Donnie, you were right.
And then love said unto them,
problematic sections of this.
Commit mass genocide, but keep some of them as slaves. That's
love them.
That's love
them.
Love them into slavery, into indentured servitude.
God.
Oh my God. Ugh. That's okay.
Yeah, good on you, Donnie. Though.
Yeah, I love that you're just that you're seeing it from the perspective of like, well, this is interesting. Let's just sort of let's reach out.
Yeah,
I like it.
Well, and what I'm just curious, like what this guy's, like what he wants a skeptic to read it, but what's his point?
What are you trying to accomplish?
Why are you taking God out if you're a believer?
Yeah. And if you're not a believer, you can let that stupid book go. You can just put it onto a little boat and then just send it away down the river, and it'll be gone forever, and you never have to read it again because it's horrible.
Yeah.
It's a bad book.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, there you go. Anyway, you can tell him we said so, Donnie. Todd, I wanted to tell you, has given us a donation, a one-time donation.
Oh, nice.
So I wanted to start our thanking of the people.
Yes.
With Todd.
Well, thank you, Todd.
Who's our first person to be thanked.
And we have others to thank.
We have a bunch. Yes.
There's
a few.
There are a few.
Yes.
There are enough that it is a few.
Yeah.
The first person to thank today. I normally don't mention last names.
Well, oh yes.
We don't.
We keep it on a first name basis.
I don't think that Lick, that it works without the last name.
Oh,
Lick.
Okay, Lick.
Is a new venerable listener.
Thank you very much, Lick.
Donald.
Okay,
is a new beatified.
Oh,
listener.
Praise to him.
And we have a new pope.
Oh.
We have Pope Vincent.
Oh, Pope Vincent.
There's probably been a Pope Vincent or two, hasn't there? Vincenzo?
Let's just say yes.
Yeah?
That's probably not their Pope name, though. There have probably been some Vincents.
Because they have to go all Benedict.
I'm going to say
and-
Pope Innocent VIII was
that's right.
was Vincent.
Urban whatever.
Yeah.
That's right. They have weird names. I wish it could just be a Vincenzo.
Right?
Hey, ciao, Vincenzo.
Pope Bob the First.
And as always, we have our top donor, our Lord and Savior, but it's a new one.
Uh-oh.
D.
Taking the strong lead. There you go. Everybody, if you would like to help us with our campaign to make this a listener-supported entirely podcast, please, we would love it if you would just go to thankgodimatheist.com, click on the support tab, click on the thing on the right, the banner on the right-hand side of the screen if you want to, and that'll take you, and then you choose how much you can afford. Give till it hurts.
Yeah.
And boy, we thank you so much.
Thanks, guys.
Hey,
Dan.
Frank.
Yes.
Frank,
Yes, Dan.
Here's the thing.
Okay.
The Starbucks cups are out.
Oh, I know.
And
Oh my God, it's such a big deal, Dan.
and it's so funny because
And
this
thank
was
God the national media just like jumps on this.
this was covered by CNN. This was covered by Fox News. This was covered by everybody. And the only reason they're covering it
Right.
is because several years ago, Starbucks around this time of year released holiday cups
Yeah.
that were Christmassy.
Yeah.
And then at some point another year they released cups that were just red around this time of year that didn't have anything Christmassy. They were just red.
Oh my, only half the Christmas colors.
And the Christians lost their goddamned minds about it. They just went
Where's the green?
ape shit crazy. We had Fallen Star O'Reilly talking about it.
Oh,
we had all of these. We had Fox News just fanning the flames
Yeah.
of the war on Christmas.
War on.
And now
Yeah.
Starbucks is in a fucking awful position because they cannot do anything right now. They are now ground zero of the war. And whatever they do is going to please somebody and piss somebody off. This year's cups, they're green and red. They look very festive and Christmassy.
Right.
They say Merry Coffee.
Merry Coffee. That's cute.
Yeah.
I guess. Whatever.
Yeah.
They worked hard on that one.
It doesn't give them a lot. It doesn't give any side a lot to chew on.
Yeah. But
so
God damn it, Dan. These Christians are just a bunch of fucking bullies.
Well, here's the thing. This is what I wanted to talk about.
Yeah.
The war on Christmas.
Right.
We've talked about it a bunch. They talk about it all the time.
Mm-hmm.
It is not a war on Christmas. You don't get to call it the war on Christmas when you started the war. It is not us warring against Christmas when everything. It's your war.
I could just fucking blow up Christmas.
Well,
I could just drop a bomb right on.
whatever. You love Christmas.
Me?
You throw
Love
a little
Christmas?
You throw little parties. You have fun.
Christmas parties. When have I thrown a Christmas party?
I don't know. Christmas time. You have parties. You have
You
get-togethers.
invite people over.
See, you love it.
I guess I have like a Christmas decoration
There you go.
that I put up every year. That's true.
There you go. Look,
Much to Dave's chagrin.
here's the thing. Most of us, I get shit for being grumpy about Christmas on Facebook because the stores become ungoable.
Right.
Everything is the worst music of all time.
Oh, you don't like the music. That's right.
I like
Whereas
some
I
of the
like
music. Look, the good music is fine. But like the entire
what's
canon
the good music
of,
and what's the bad music?
like the old timey stuff, the Gershwin
That's
stuff.
the good stuff?
That's the good stuff.
Mariah Carey.
Mariah Carey is the oh my god. It's the worst. Mariah Carey's the worst. Christmas Shoes came out and everybody should have just realized that the whole genre is over. The entire genre of Christmas music
Dan,
needed to
can
be
you
over.
listen to that song without crying, without weeping?
No, I can't because it hurts so bad. And the malls are just a nightmare.
Oh,
and
they're so pretty.
Everybody's.
Do you know what I love about
my God.
Christmas? Is that we're given this just complete carte blanche at being as tacky as possible. There's not an attractive Christmas decoration in the world. They are all hideous and disgusting and tacky.
Oh my God.
But in this in this month of Christmas of December. Christmas.
It's
It is
all
the
of the
Christmas
month. It's in the Christmas months of December.
It's just
going all the way back to
all
August.
Of that gold and silver and it's not some shade of green. It's not some red.
Right.
It's fucking red and it's fucking green.
Yeah.
Right. And it's just beautiful.
Oh my God.
For that period of time.
And and people get to be, and people go tacky. Like even in the richest neighborhood in Salt Lake City, in the upper avenues, way up high where the wealthies live.
Yeah.
There's one house that every year puts out more decorations than you can imagine. He makes Clark Griswold look like a pussy.
Yeah, I think I can actually see it out your back window right now.
It glows like a beacon. It's so shitty. And the thing is, fine. You know, I don't own the malls. That guy can put up his stuff.
How much do you go to the mall, Dan, that this is an actual concern?
I try not to go there at all, but buy stuff. I need clothes. Humans need clothing.
Don't you think you could just plan a little bit better, Dan?
Why do I have to? It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. This is not. We're off track. I'm gonna reel us back in.
That's right.
I'm gonna reel us back in because the point is,
everyone.
This is not a war on Christmas. No. Me being grumpy about it, is just me pointing out how geared our entire society here in these United States is to kowtowing to Christians.
Yeah.
Like everything is yours. You get it all. And if they lose an inch of that, if one fewer Christmas songs is played in a mall,
right,
they lose their goddamn minds.
Right.
And then they start yelling at the mall and at the store that was in charge. Well, and at anyone, and they go around and they weaponize the words Merry Christmas.
Yep.
It's bullshit.
Yep.
It's weaponized now. If we say Happy Holidays to be nice to them, they hate us.
I know. Well, I mean, you got to be like, Happy Holidays.
Yeah, I know, right?
Merry Christmas.
I worked in a mall at one point in my life, and I had a woman say, well, I say I say Merry Christmas. So Merry Christmas to you. And I was like,
how bitter and awful.
That was not a nice
ugly
thing. You just did a not nice. Even if I were a Christian, even if I loved Christmas, you just did a not nice and pretended it was a nice.
Right. For all you know, I'm Christian too.
Right. I love for all you know, Christmas is my favorite
and you're
thing.
Just a polite human being who doesn't know the religion of the person that you're talking to.
Right.
That's what it's all about. That's why you say Happy Holidays.
But what I'm telling you is that this woman was not responding to anything from me. She completely I didn't say Happy Holidays.
What'd you say?
I didn't say anything. I was like, thanks. And, I give her bag of stuff and she just goes, well, I say Merry Christmas. So Merry Christmas. That was her opening gambit. It was in response to literally nothing. That's just how she wishes people Merry Christmas now.
Boy, she violated some Geneva Convention shit right there.
Right?
Like, she's so fired first.
Yeah, exactly. This is not the war on Christmas, people. Don't use that terminology. If there's a takeaway from this segment, it is don't use their terminology, which is there's a war. And don't say there's no war on Christmas. Say, yes, there's a war. You guys started it.
It's a war for Christmas.
It's a war against inclusion.
Yeah.
It is a war to preserve privilege.
Right.
It is a war. It is the Crusade for Christmas Coercion.
Oh, but spell it all with K's.
Yeah, exactly. Nailed it. They like that anyway. They think it's cute when you do that.
Yeah, and they need a new Christmas song, Christmas über alles, and base it on you know what.
Exactly. Christmas, Christmas, über alles, über all. Yeah, exactly. It's like O Tannenbaum.
Yeah.
I mean, the Germans have a whole bunch of lovely Christmas music.
They do, yeah.
And then you just make it English.
Right.
Yikes. All right. Well, there you go. I think that's all I really wanted to get out was just, it is their war. We're not actually fighting it. All we're doing is living our lives and trying to include others who don't also practice, who don't celebrate Christmas.
Right.
They're the only ones having a war here.
Right.
But boy, are they fighting it.
Well, it is the classic situation of the loss of privilege.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. The loss of privilege feels like oppression.
Yeah.
No one's oppressing you, dipshit. It's
you're just having to share this country with the rest of us.
Yeah.
That's it.
And literally
we wish you no harm.
We wish you a Merry Christmas, you stupid dick.
If we know that you're Christian.
Yeah.
And that's important to you.
I want you to have a happy time with your family.
You should have a pin on that says, wish me a Merry Christmas.
Yeah, exactly. And we will.
Yeah.
Hey.
Oh, hey you.
Have a Merry Christmas. And then we'll have a,
says,
and then
wish me a happy holidays.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And if you don't, fuck you.
We should all just tell me to have a nice day.
Yeah, exactly.
That's all I want.
Everybody has how they identify.
Yeah.
You say your pronouns, and then you say which holiday greeting you would prefer.
Happy human light.
Happy Festivus for the rest of us. Leave me alone.
Yeah. There you have it.
All right. Well, if you have some thoughts on that you'd like to weigh in with this on, please feel free. Matter of fact, feel obligated to write into us. podcast@thankodI'matheist.com.
Or call and leave us a voicemail message. The telephone number is 424-666-8442.
Yeah. Hey, go to the Facebook page, facebook.com/TGIAtheist, and click on that like button.
And while you're there, search for the TGIA Members Only Lounge and request to join. It is a closed group, but that's what makes it awesome, and it's why you should join.
Yes, indeed. Speaking of Facebook, thanks so much to Mackenzie for all of her hard work on the Facebook page. Thanks to Amy and Danny for all of their work at the Members Only Lounge.
And a big thanks goes out to Gordon Johnston and the Red Rock Hot Club for the use of their music.
And thanks to all of you for tuning in.
Bye-bye.
Ciao.